samples for the vestibule. Verde Guatemala or Nero Marquina. But what's he supposed to do now? The music alone's not going to cut it. This weird, minimalist European jazz a guy at the office turned him on to isn't working at all this morning. Without the medication, it's just too much. Too jangly, too grating. Crossing Fifth, he tugs at his earbuds, pulls them out. Without the medication, in fact, running itself is too much. He only does it to get out of the house. That's because work, as excuses go, tends not to fly this early on a Saturday morning. Not in normal circumstances, anyway. Whereas a run in the park does. Plus, he has a gym at home that he never uses, so this is actually good for him. He just doesn't enjoy it. That's why, before leaving the house, he usually takes an anti-anxiety pill, which he then washes down with a counterintuitive triple espresso. His secret formula. Other guys he knows in their 40s love running and tennis and lifting weights. Jeff would prefer to be working. Jeff would always prefer to be working. But on he trots, 2 blocks south, then into the park and around to the left, lumbered now with all of this unfiltered crap in his head. As he passes the playground, which is already pretty busy despite the hour, he imagines having Elena and Jordan at his heels. Imagines them still being small enough to head in there for a quick turn on the climbing pyramid, or the swings. Ellie and Jojo. His precious girls. When did they get to be so big? At a steady pace, he makes his way along East Drive, down through the Dean. Other runners flit past. Sunlight flickers through the trees to his right and reflects against high apartment building windows to his left. Verde Guatemala or Nero Marquina. It's insane. There's also been talk of gold fittings for the main bathroom. She's going to ruin the place. Make it look like the Donald Trump-inspired fuck pad of some low-rent Saudi sheik, which he can't allow, if only on the grounds of taste. Though, actually, in these days of the deferred stock option, the $12 million Felicia has penciled in for the job may well end up being needed elsewhere. The cash bonus no longer a given. Heading sharply downhill now, he builds a little momentum. New structures. For a new paradigm. At which point, he glances up and sees them. 2 runners, 20 yards away and closing in. In front of him, though. Directly in his path. Jeff's not an expert or anything, but he knows there's an etiquette here, something about, what is it, following the counterclockwise flow of, "Hey!" he says, almost before he thinks it, New York indignant. But nothing. No reaction. He glances around, not all the way, enough, however, to realize that they're down in a little hollow here. Granite apartment buildings high to his left, okay, but very high, and not much now to his right, either, just a steep clay mound leading up to some patchy dry grass. The 2 runners are very close. He swerves to avoid them. They swerve too. And meet him, head on. Hey! The collision, the distribution of force, is uneven. They're prepared. Jeff isn't. He falls and hits the path sideways, hurting his arm. He immediately swings around and looks up, trying to focus, somehow imagining that what he'll be seeing is faces. Recognizable. Explicable. But all he sees, instead, barely recognizable and far, far from explicable, is an extended arm, a gloved hand, and the gray barrel of a gun. The delivery arrives. It comes in 2 pallets, 50 cartons to a pallet, 2 units to a carton. That's 200 new...